The first thing I've done is stain my canvas with the burnt sienna and the 50-50 mixture of Gamsol and linseed oil. And now I can add sketch my subject matter onto the canvas, which is a glass of water that's half full in direct light, or half empty as the case may be. I'm going to use a pencil, but you could also use a brush to execute your drawing of the glass. Okay, so before I begin, I wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, I stained the surface of my canvas. I started off with a brush using a flat brush because that was the quickest way to get pigment onto the canvas. And then I used this rag to remove most of the pigment and get this nice light to middle tone wash of burnt sienna that you see. And this is very nice. You don't want to get it too dark. You could go lighter than this, but this is a good stain. It's not quite middle value, but close. It's a very simple still life, and there's a good reason for that. We want to keep things pretty simple, but there are still some things I would like you to pay attention to, and that is the negative space around the object that you're going to paint. Here I made sure that my glass is approximately 1/3 of the way down from the top of the canvas. I'm looking to make sure that this width, the space between the left side of the glass and the right side of the glass is approximately equivalent. The space from the bottom of the glass to the bottom of the canvas is approximately equivalent to this. And then I've also looked to this is the baseline, the edge of the wall is about the same. It's a little bit less than 1/3, but I also wanted to make sure that that wasn't way down or way high. So I've got a nice balanced composition and I'm ready to start painting. So at this point, I would say use whatever combination of brushes you're comfortable with. What I have here are a couple of rounds. I have let's see, this is a 4. This is a 3. This is a Filbert number 6. I have another round, which is a number 6. This actually is a watercolor brush, but it'll work just fine. It's possible later that I might go grab a flat, but for blending right now, I think the round brushes are going to be good. Okay, I'm going to get started. Okay, so that's my underpainting. Now, a couple of things I'll note that I was doing along the way. Sometimes if you want to erase, so to speak, you can dip your brush into the 50-50 mixture and just pass it along a passage here. That soaks up some of the pigment. Instead of getting there with a rag, which you can also do to take up pigment, you can also just apply an amount of the concoction. Another thing that I used, if you'll notice, was this round movement of the brush, and that helps to diffuse the pigment if it's getting too thick. I just use this secret little circular motion. I call it the cloudy hands, and that helps to spread out the pigment and it helps you regain some of that light value. Okay, so now I'm going to let this dry and then we'll be ready for the overpainting.